Good morning, second graders. I hope everybody's doing well. I wanted to go over a couple of things that's on your lesson today and just general review. Okay. The most important thing I want to go over is on the back, you have some subtraction problems. Number one, and it says write the difference. Okay, this is something new, okay? And I want to make sure y'all understand this. We will go back over it next year too, so don't worry about it. But I really want to try to see if you can catch on to the concept, okay? So on 1A on the back, you have 700 minus 368. Okay, so where do we start? Where do we always start? In the ones place. So in my ones place, I have a 0, a minus, an 8. Well, if I had 0 candy bars, can I sneak 8 of them away to eat? No, because you don't have any. So guys, you cannot subtract that. You have to go next door to Mr. Next Door. Well, look, Mr. Next Door doesn't have anything either. Well, I can't take one away from him because he doesn't have anything either. Right. So listen, guys, you're going to have to borrow for your neighbor first before you can borrow from him. So, Mr. Neighbor here is going to ask Mrs. Neighbor because Mrs. Neighbor has 7, okay? So, knock, knock, Mrs. 7. Can I borrow a 1? Well, sure you can. So what happens is that 7 becomes a 6 because you took 1 away from 7. That 0 that you have in your tens place for Mr. Next Door, he becomes a 10 because that 1 that you borrowed goes in front of that 0. It goes in the tens place. So Mr. Neighbor has 10 now. Well, let's go back to our original 0 minus 8. Can he go to Mr. Neighbor and borrow 1 now? Well, yeah. Knock, knock, Mr. Neighbor. Can I borrow a 1? Well, sure, I got 10 now. Mrs. Neighbor gave me 1. So I'm going to take 1 away from that 10 now. And that becomes a 9. And that 0 in the ones place becomes a 10. Okay? I know this is confusing, but we just keep doing it, and we'll get it, okay? Now, can I subtract? Can I do 10 minus 8? Yes, I can. 10 is larger than 8. If I had 10 candy bars, I can sneak 8 away, couldn't I? Oh, yeah. And how many would I have left? You would have 2 left. 10 minus 8 is 2. Now we go to our tens place. Our tens place, I have a 9 minus 6. 9 minus 6. That is 3. Then in my hundreds place, I have 6 minus 3. Well, 6 minus 3 is 3. So 700 minus 368 equals 332. That is my difference, 332. Now, if you look at the next one, it's a bigger number. We're looking at thousands now, okay? So let's look at that. Let's look at 6,000. It's the next one. 6,000 minus 3,222. Listen to how I'm saying the numbers too so you can hear it and recognize it too. Okay, so 6,000 minus 3,222. Excuse me. Now, where do we start? In the ones place. Okay, I have 0 minus 2. Like before, if I had 0 candy bars, can I sneak 2 of them away from the cabinet? No, because there's none there. There's none to take. So I can't do that. I cannot take 2 from 0 because there's nothing there. So I go to Mr. Neighbor. Well, Mr. Neighbor has 0 too. I can't take a 1 from there because that's 0. He has nothing to give me. He can't give me a candy bar, can he? No. And Mrs. Neighbor, she doesn't have any either, does she? No, she doesn't have any to take either or to give. So we have to go to Mrs. Neighbor. What can we call Mrs. Neighbors? I've got Mrs., Mr., Kid. I don't know what to call it. Anyways, you go to your thousands place. It's a 6. Can you take 1 candy bar from 6? Well, you sure can. So if I was to go knock, knock, 6, can I borrow a 1? He'll say, or she'll say, sure, you can borrow a 1. And so what happens is you're going to make that 6 into a 5 because 6 minus 1 is 5. That 0 that's in my hundreds place, Mrs., she becomes a 10 because that 1 that I borrowed, I put in front of that 0 in the tens place, okay? So now that becomes a 10. Now, I still can't do anything with my ones place because I still have 0 minus 2. Well, Mrs. can give Mr. 1 now, can't she? Because she has 10. So here's Mr. He's going, knock, knock, Mrs. Neighbor. Can I borrow a 1? Sure you can, Mr. So 10 minus 1 becomes 9, and Mr. becomes 10. Mr. Neighbor becomes a 10 because you put that 1 in front of that 0. Now, let's look. 0 minus 2. We know we can't do that. But now Mr. Neighbor has 10. So we can take 1 candy bar away from 10, can't we? Yes. So let's go. Knock, knock. Mr. Neighbor, I see you have some now. I see you have some candy bars. Can I borrow 1? Well, sure you can. Well, so 10 minus 1 becomes 9. And that 0 in the ones place becomes a 10 because that 1 goes in front of the 0, goes in the tens place. So look what I just did. I had to go all the way to my hundreds place to Mrs. Neighbor to borrow from the thousands so that Mr. can borrow from Mrs. and so the ones place can borrow from Mr. I know it's confusing. I'm trying to get it to where you can remember. I know it sounds funny, Mr. and Mrs. and candy bars, but I want you to get this concept because it's so important, and I want you to go in this order, okay? It's very important. Because you can mess up, okay? I don't want you to just say, oh, these are zeros and start canceling them out and turning them to 9s and 10s. Don't do that. Do the steps that I'm doing, okay? It's very important. Now, I have in my ones place 10 minus 2. Can I do that? Well, sure. I have 10 candy bars now. I can sneak 2 away, couldn't I? And so if I do that, there would be 8 left because 10 minus 2 is 8. Then I go to my tens place. My tens place has 9 minus 2. Well, 9 minus 2 is going to give me 7. Then I have another 9 minus 2. Well, I just did that. I know that's 7. So now let's go to our thousands place. And let's not forget, let's put our comma because we have a number that's going to be in our thousands. So what do we have? 5 minus 3, 2. So 6,000 minus 3,222 equals 2,778. I am going to let you do the next one. I want you to try it, okay? I want you to try it. Do what I was doing. Go to your ones place. Then go to Mr. If you can't do it, go to Mr. 10, Mr. Neighbor. Knock, knock, Mr. Neighbor. Can I borrow one? Well, if he doesn't have any, he's going to say, no, I don't have any. I can't give you any candy bars. So then he goes to help you. So he goes to his neighbor, Mrs. 100. How about that, Mrs. 100? Mrs. 100, she doesn't have any either. So she tells Mr. 10, I can't give you any. I can't give you one. I don't have any myself. So then Mrs. Neighbor wants to help Mr. So she goes next door to the thousandths place. Ms. Thousand, how about that? Ms. Thousand, she has a 7. Wow, can't she give Mrs. 100 one? Well, yeah, she could. So you have to just keep going like that. Just think about it. They're helping each other out. These place values, they're helping each other out. They're wanting to help that ones place get what it needs so that it can continue. Okay? So think about it that way. All right? I know that's hard. I know it is. But we'll keep practicing. We'll keep doing it, okay? I promise. All right. You're dealing with money today. I don't have my play money with me, but I suggest, and I tell y'all this, you can do it whatever works for you. Put the value of the coin underneath it. Then start adding them all up, going from the greatest coin value to the smallest. Or you can start counting by it, for instance, and you can put what it is underneath. You have 2 quarters. Well, under the first quarter, you're going to put 25 cents. Under your second quarter, you can put 50 cents because 2 quarters equals 50 cents, right? So you can do it like that. Or like I just said, you can continue and just put 25, 25 and then go back and do your counting by that, okay? I suggest this only so that you can see, but you can keep up of what you had counted, okay? I think it helps, all right? Think about your values. Your quarters are 25 cents, so you count by 25s. 25, 50, 75, $1. Then you start over. It's a pattern, okay? Then you have your dimes, little bitty silver. They are 10 cents. So when you have those, you will count by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, okay? Then your nickels, a little bit bigger. They're 5 cents, so you count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20. That's y'all's favorite to count by. And then you have your little penny, your copper-looking penny. And it's 1 cent, so you count by ones, okay? And then the same goes with your dollar bills. Your face value for your dollars is one, so you count by ones. $5 is the value's 5, so you count by fives. $10 is 10, so you count by 10. Okay? 20, same thing. You count by 20. Okay? 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Okay? I don't think we've gotten there yet, but there's a little sneak peek of how to do that. Okay? Y'all are doing wonderful with multiplication. Division kind of gets y'all. Division's the opposite of multiplication. Okay? So I know y'all are struggling with that because I see parents writing notes saying, oh, we had trouble with this. And I want you to look at it. And for instance, on your sheet today, you have 100 divided by 10. So you're trying to see how many tens can go into 100. How many tens can make 100? 10 times what makes 100? Okay? 10 times what equals 100? 10. There was something on one of those sheets and it was seashells, and they had different kinds of seashells. Okay? And what they wanted you to do was first add all those up. Tell me how many seashells you have. Well, for this problem, you would have added up 100 seashells. How many are in each group of all the different seashells? Okay? How the different ones, you would group them together into where they are all the same in each group. For instance, if you had starfish, you had 10 starfish, 10 sand dollars, okay? And 10 of those round ones that you can put to your ear and listen to the ocean. I don't know what they're called. So you would say you have 10 in each group. Well, how many equal groups do you have? Well, you would count that up and you would get 10. So that's all that is. So division, you're kind of doing you're doing the opposite of multiplication, okay? You're looking at it as a whole, and then you're finding equal amount of groups. How many in the group and how many equal groups? How many in the group and how many groups you have of that, okay? 20, you have 20 divided by 5. Well, 5 times what gives you 20? Well, guys, what have I showed you? 5, 10, 15, 20. How many fingers? 4. So 4 times 5 is 20. So 20 divided by 5 is 4. Okay? So let's look at our number 2 on the front. It says mark the fraction that shows how much of each slice was eaten. Okay? The eaten slices, the eaten slices are the white shaded ones because it's gone. Think of it being pizza, cheese pizza, okay? So your first one is divided into 3 equal groups. Well, how many white sections do you have? 1. Because there's still 2 big, large pieces of pizza left, okay? So your fraction of how many slices were eaten would be 1/3. Okay, 1/3. Then on the next one, that should be easy. It's in halves. Now look at the next one. You have it divided into 4 slices. 2 slices are orange, say for cheese, and the other two are white. Well, the white is what was eaten. So what's the fraction of eaten parts? 2/4. Then you have one that's divided into 4s again. 1 orange slice, which means there's only 1 slice left. So how many slices were eaten? 3. So your fraction part of slices eaten would be 3/4. Okay, so they're doing the opposite. So you have to read the instructions, guys. They're doing the opposite. Okay, that's very important. Da, 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 da. Okay. Oh, looky here. You have to find 1/3 of those s'mores. Doesn't that sound good? Go camping and have some s'mores. So you're going to count how many s'mores you have, okay? And you're going to divide them up into 3 equal groups. Once you find those 3 equal groups, you're going to circle how many are in each group. Okay? For instance, if I had 3 s'mores and I was to divide it up into 3 equal groups, how many am I going to have in each group? 1. So you would circle 1. I want you to try to do that, okay? I'm not going to do it. I want you to try, okay? If you have to use another piece of paper and draw you some s'mores, do it, okay? Do it. I know y'all can do it. I'm very proud of each and every one of y'all. Y'all have done very good on y'all's work. I'm very proud of y'all. And y'all continue to do it, okay? 2nd graders, because guess what? You go to 3rd grade next year. And boy, it's going to be a lot of multiplication, a lot of division, a lot of fractions. So let's really get to familiar with all this, okay? So we know what to do, all right? But yes, we will review over all that we're doing right now when y'all come to 3rd grade in the beginning of school, okay? So don't be scared. It'll be all right. And I know y'all can do it because y'all are a very smart group of kids, okay? I miss y'all. I hope everyone's doing well. And continue to learn your facts, your multiplication facts, your subtraction facts, and your addition facts, okay? We've got to get those down, all right? And know them just like that, all right? All righty. Have a good day. I'll see about posting another video tomorrow or the next day, okay? All righty. Talk to y'all later.